Hello, we're here today for the second part of our tier list. This is also the last part before Fontaine, and so I previously made Mondstadt and I did not Mondstadt and Li Yue, and we're here with Inazuma and Sumeru. So as you can see, this is the current tier list, and then we have these characters left. And actually I have noticed that it has been a while since 5-star from Inazuma, well, also Mondstadt have been released. So I hope that we get some new 5-star from both Inazuma and Mondstadt. And so we can start. Electro Traveler, never used. The tier, I think Electro Traveler is probably the weakest traveler at the moment, even weaker than the Animo Traveler, because the Animo Traveler can still use the Viridescent Vener, while the Electro Traveler, I honestly don't know what the Electro Traveler does, because I've never played the Electro Traveler, but I know that the Electro Traveler is quite weak, so I'll place him here. And I actually never seen anyone use the Electro Traveler. I'm not sure if about his role and anything, so I just place him here in the D tier. Maybe he's stronger, but I don't think so. And then Katsuha, of course, S tier, current strongest character in game. There's nothing much to say, because beside that, I was one of the among the first player that rolled for Katsuha, because I was collecting all the Genshin boys. I'm still collecting all the Genshin boys, but there are many players, like many even hardcore players, that have skipped Katsuha for many reasons. And then when Katsuha has come back with his rerun, his banner was crazy, and everyone was pulling for Kazuha, and I'm so glad that I had Kazuha since his debut. And he's actually the first character I lost a 50-50 to, because I lost his 50-50 and I got this girl, but it was an early PD, so I still got him with a guaranteed. And what else do I have to say? He has like so many weapon choices. He even got 2 weapons for him. Besides, he plays perfectly the Iron Sting, which is a forgeable weapon. He even got 2 more weapons that were made for him: the umbrella from the event and the katana that's obtainable from his quest. I think it's still obtainable. I think it's only related to that quest, but I'm not sure. There's also that katana. Maybe the katana from his quest is not the best, but he plays the Iron Sting, a free weapon, forgeable weapon, and he is one of his best in slot. So of course, if I'm not talking about his signature weapon, because of course that's better, but he has got a solid, strong 4-star option, and it's even a forgeable weapon, so and well, as for artifacts, Viridescent Vener is of course the best, just like many Animo characters, and I have nothing to say. He has a perfect kit by itself. He's a character that that's opposite to characters like Claire, to let me see, to Ningguang, because Kaza has the best combo between weapons and artifacts, and he literally changes your entire team, and he can play well with that danger reaction too, if we're talking about the aggravate especially, and just an insane character. I don't even know why Kaza is so strong, because he I mean he appeared as an introduction to Inazuma, but he turned out to be the strongest character of the nation and of the game also, and he replaced Venti. He has completely kicked Venti out from any team that you needed Venti, because Kaza's crowd control is second to no one. His crowd control is like too overpowered. His crowd control is something Venti doesn't have, and his crowd control is easy to use, very efficient, and yeah, and he deals a lot of damage too by swirling. There's nothing else to say. Then Ayaka is just like Ganyu and Hu Tao. I place her before Hu Tao and Ganyu because I think Ayaka is easier to use. Insane damage with her elemental burst, and because like cryo characters have this strong strength point. If for example Ganyu and Ayaka especially Ayaka, because Ganyu use other artifacts, but Ayaka used the cryo set that increases the crit rate, and if you usually tend to put two cryo characters, maybe like Sunghe or I don't know, maybe even Songyun, and you get more crit rate, and so you basically don't even need crit rate. You have just to focus on crit damage, and yeah, that's it. She does a lot of damage, and because you don't have to pay attention to crit rate, like in particularly attention to it, she can even have, like, I think there are people that has over 200 crit damage, even like 300 maybe, if you have her signature weapon or a Heisam sword. Just she just deletes enemies, and there's nothing much to say. So S tier. Sayu, I think Sayu is quite fun to play, but I think she's a cute character with that. No, I don't know if her constellation are strong or not, but I put her in. But honestly, I'm not sure. She's maybe I'll place her in B tier because she can still use the Viridescent whenever she heals, but she does need a 6th constellation to work well, right? This could be like kind of an issue. Now I'll place her on C just because I think that Diona is way better than Sayu. I place Sayu in C tier because I don't think you'll actually use her elemental skill a lot, and I just think Diona is way better than Sayu, and if I place Diona in B tier, Sayu has to go a tier below, not for other reason, but Sayu will be high ranked among the C tiers. Yoimiya, A tier character, quite underrated, but also I have to say that in my opinion Yoimiya is quite like an invisible character. Like nobody cares that much about Yoimiya. She has like the lowest sales among the lowest sales. Her banner were just very forgettable, because whenever there was Yoimiya's banner, there was another banner that was more objectively talking, like more worse. Like I remember there was a time where Yoimiya was along together with Kazuha, and of course everyone was skipping Yoimiya for Kazuha, and because it was Kazuha's rerun, and Yoimiya comes every time during the worst time possible. Despite this, I don't think Yoimiya is a weak character. It's just I think she's quite forgettable. I place her in A tier. She's actually quite strong, but I think Yoimiya is the most forgettable character, one of the most forgettable character in game, especially because she's a 5-star. So yeah, no particular opinions. She has free-to-play weapons. She has artifacts. I think she's just quite she was forgotten for a long time. Raiden Shogun, of course, S tier. 5-star Fisher with more damage output. S tier. I don't have to express myself. She has perfect a free-to-play weapon, which is the catch. That's a polearm obtainable through fishing. She has the signature artifacts. If you have her 5-star weapon, her signature weapon, like the engulfing lightning, she deletes enemies, overpower constellations. Raiden Shogun's constellation are among the most broken constellation in game. An amazing character, and she plays, I think, in my opinion, she saves Eula, because Raiden and Eula is quite a strong combo, and you can even build Raiden Shogun elemental mastery to get damage through Hyper Bloom and other reactions as well. Nothing else to say. Well, Kujo Sara. So, I say about Kujo Sara. She is quite hard, because she is technically a character that goes on A tier. The main problem, the main issue with Kujo Sara is you never need Kujo Sara. If you want to buff your team, like Kujo Sara is a specific support for electro characters, and she comes every time along with Raiden Shogun. But if I want to buff Raiden Shogun, I'll probably think on putting in to make a team, for example, Raiden, Katsuha, Beretto, and then now that's the aggravate reaction, maybe Nahida, or for star character could be Yao Yao, or even Collei, or the Danger Traveler. The Danger Traveler, actually, if I want to make a free-to-play team, I could use Raiden, Sucrose, and the Danger Traveler, and I think it's easier to use, because Kujo Sara, actually, if you don't have a couple of constellations, she works. She's harder to play with. It's not her C6 that you need. I think it was C2 or C4 or something like that. But the main problem is that you never need Kujo Sara, and that's why I put her on A-. But her case is an exceptional case, because these three are in A- because they have the potential to be on A tier. It's just they don't have the at the moment they don't have the what it takes to be in A tier at the moment, but they have this potential. Like Kujo Sara is already a A-tier character. It's just she's not necessary, and the fact she comes only along Rider's rerun. She's even quite hard to get. So she instead has got taken down by the Dendro, because you don't actually need Kujosara that much. I mean, she's not bad, but it's just I don't think I can't think of any team comp that I prefer Kujosara to others. Like, although she's an electro specialized buffer, she's not necessary like Farzan or Goro. Kokomi, Sangonomiya Kokomi. So I know that Kokomi is a S tier character. For the Bloom teams or for the Hyper Bloom teams. The problem, in my opinion, is that I still place her on top of the A tier. I have to admit that I personally don't like Kokomi, but the problem is that if you have Paichu, you don't need Kokomi, and Paichu is better than Kokomi. And another issue is that you can stick with if you want to play a Hyper Bloom, you can stick with Kuki Shinobu as healer, and then you use for example Yelan, Shinchu as hydro characters, maybe, or even a blue team you still want to stick with Yelan or Shinchu. Like, maybe not Shinchu but Yelan, because Yelan does more damage. It's true that Kokomi's jellyfish applies hydro better, but again I don't think she has the problem just like Kujosara. To me, I know there are many Kokomi players, but because I have Paichu, I can't find any reason to play Kokomi unless I want to play like Vaporize or something like that, but I prefer using Benettos, honestly, and I don't feel like to roll for a 5-star healer like Kokomi when there is a character that's Paichu I think Paichu is just better. And Kokomi actually she's even quite free to play friendly, because she uses the Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayer as 3-star catalyst, and you use the Tenacity of the Milelis, or like the 2 artifact sets with the HP, but it's just I don't think Kokomi is really a game changer, because there are other characters that I can use instead. Arataki Ito, Geo DPS character, so I put him in the middle because Ito has he's strong, he does a lot of damage, easy to play, easy to build. He can use the White Blind, which is a forgeable weapon. Again, he has a forgeable weapon as an option, but Ito has an issue. Maybe I'll stick lower with Ito. Maybe I'll run with Shao, I think, because Arataki Ito with Goro on the same team is different to an Arataki Ito without a Goro on the same team. If you have Goro, Ito can go here. If you don't have Goro, Ito is still a strong character, but he's very different. You need like Goro. If you have, the more copies of Goro you have, the better. But essentially, if you just don't have Goro, Ito is not that satisfying to play. And yeah, he does have artifacts and weapons, but I feel like if you don't have Goro and you don't have like Albedo, I personally like to play Ito with Albedo and Goro as a must. Sometimes I tend to use Zhongli too, but Zhongli is not necessary. You can use, for example, Lightning Shogun, Fisher, Beneto, other characters. But I feel like if you don't have Goro and also Albedo, because in order to play Goro well, he has this limitation because Ito needs Goro, but Goro needs 3 Geo characters, and this is quite limited. See, also because there are not many Geo characters. And talking about Goro, Goro goes in A tier for me. A tier. I personally, I'm quite biased towards Goro. I'm thinking about putting him in S tier, but I won't put Goro in S tier just because Goro works only with Geo characters, and but he, like, for Geo characters, Goro is a must. Unlike Kujosara and Mika or Rosaria, Goro is a must. Having Goro in your team means that you have the strongest Geo team. You have the you're using your team at 100% of its strength. And Goro's constellation are broken. Goro can heal, not that much, but if you're playing Geo, maybe, and use only 3 Geo characters, you can maybe use also the crystallized reaction to minimize the damage. But Goro can even heal a little bit, not much, but it still heal. Goro's constellation increases the damage to a nonsense point, but only for Geo characters. This is why Goro stays in tier A, but I'm personally biased towards Goro, so I'll put him on top of tier A, on the A tier, and personally I'll put Goro on S tier, but I won't be putting Goro on S tier because unlike Taizu or like other characters, Goro has to be on a Geo team with at least 3 characters, otherwise you're not using Goro. And easy to build, very easy to build actually. He has a nice selection of weapons too, and this is all. Thoma! Oh, Thoma! Probably the best boy in Genshin. I'm quite conflicted every time I have to think which one I prefer between Thoma and Zhongli as a male character and also child, but Thoma and Zhongli stands out more, like, for me, because my personal bias to armor. But like usually Thoma and child and Zhongli, they have this conflict in my heart. Also Ayato, but especially Thoma and Zhongli. And probably there are some times that I think he's my favorite characters in game. His hangout quest is my favorite quest in game. One of my favorite quests in general. My favorite hangout without doubts. Thoma was a character I desired since the first time I saw him, and he debuted a while after, and I really hoped he was a 5-star character, but he turned out to be a 4-star character. And nevertheless, he is a strong character in my opinion. A tier, and I'm putting him here because I'm just biased towards Thoma. And what to say? Thoma, when he first came out, he was considered a D tier character, probably a C tier, because his shield is like paper, and he needs a lot of energy recharge, and everything. He was like quite hard to work with, mainly because if his strength point was the shield, his shield is the worst shield in game probably. And the other thing was he looked very strong at first. I remember actually there was something else Toma was supposed to do. And they said that in during the when they showed Toma, I forgot what it was, but Toma had like what Toma was supposed to do another thing, one more thing, and it turned out that he couldn't do that thing. But I honestly forgot what it was. But they said this during the live stream where they showed Toma, and Thomas' strength point was like the pyro application. So it at first it was like quite hard to work with, and but now because there's Burgeon, Toma is one of the strongest character in the Burgeon formation, and the Dendra has gained him more value. And I personally have always considered Toma a high rank character because I love playing with him. I personally, maybe it's not the best because his pyro application is quite strange, but I personally play him with Ayato, Beneto and Kazuha. And yeah, Toma has nice constellation too. He has normal charge and plunging attacks. There was a time where I played Beneto, Toma, Kaza and Xiao. Don't ask me why, but if you don't have a shielder, Toma and you have Toma C6, why not? And that's 50% more in damage from your attacks. And with after the Dendro was released, after Sumeru was released, and there was the Dendro's reaction called Burgeon, Toma has gained a lot of value, and finally he can have a solid place in a A tier. I have always considered him a A tier character, but if I had to make this tier list like a year ago, I'd had to place him in a C tier because objectively he wasn't that strong, but now he is, so that's fine. Yaemiko. Oh, Yaemiko. I place her A tier as well. Because Yaemiko does have artifacts, she has weapons, the Wild City is perfect for her. Because of the Dendro, Yaemiko is another character that has jumped a lot with the Dendro. But I won't be putting Yaemiko on a S tier because I'm thinking about the characters alone. And Yaemiko has the most expensive cost in energy for the elemental burst of 90. She's the only character to have that cost, if I'm correct. I'm not sure which cost has Raiden Shogun because I have Yaemiko but not Raiden Shogun. Yaemiko, if you don't have the correct team, you maybe have some troubles with launching her elemental burst, so she goes in A tier for me because I'm thinking about the characters alone. Like some kind of because like unlike Toma you want to play the Favonius Lens. With Yaemiko you want the Wit Sit, so you can play the Favonius Codex, but it's like you're nerfing Yaemiko. And the reason that I'm placing her on A tier and Toma A tier also is because I think as the character alone, Toma may be easier to use because Yaemiko has also the turrets that may work or may not. I don't know. So like Yaemiko just stays in A tier as Kamisato Ayato. Kamisato Ayato is actually quite similar to Child, and just personally I think Kamisato Ayato is easier to use, but I place him after child. And there is a reason for this, because Ayato doesn't have great free-to-play weapon options. If you don't have his signature weapon or the Jade Cutter or the or any other 5-star sword, there is a difference. Or at least you should have the sword from the battle pass to get a satisfying Ayato. If you don't have this, Ayato may not do enough damage, or at least you won't be quite satisfying, especially if you're used to use characters like Xiao. And yeah, actually place Ayato here, because Ayato needs weapons. He doesn't have a free-to-play option. By said this, he has many artifacts option again. His elemental burst is quite useful. You can combine it with Kanyu's elemental burst, and his DPS, Hydro DPS, just like Child. He's just easier to play, but also harder to build, because you need a better weapon. While Child has the Rust as a free-to-play option, Ayato doesn't have a weapon like that. And this is the reason I'm placing Ayato here. Although I personally prefer Ayato than Child, because in the Spiral Abyss I find Ayato easier to play. Heizo, Shikanoin Heizo is another A tier for me, because Shikanoin Heizo is nice damage dealer. Of course, if you don't have a 5-star DPS, Shikanoin Heizo is a monster compared to other characters, and you can use the Witch Seed also. I prefer the Solar Prayer, I think, because I think the Solar Prayer is more like useful on him, but the Witch Seed is also a great option. It's just I think Heizo doesn't use the Witch Seed at its fullest. Heizo got also the artifacts, with one of the last domains that have been released, the domain that's in the desert. And nice 4-star DPS. His constellations are very strong, and yes, a nice A tier character. Kukishinobu S tier. Kukishinobu, I think S tier, because she after Dendro, she is like, if you're playing Hyper Bloom, you probably want Kukishinobu. If you don't have Paitu and you need also a healer and you don't have a Raiden Shogun, Kukishinobu is perfect. Because I think she can be also better than Raiden Shogun in some ways, because Kukishinobu triggers Hyper Bloom in a more efficient way, because she triggers all the seeds that are around you, while with Raiden Shogun you will trigger maybe the seeds that are in front of you. So this is the difference, and she heals a lot. She has the artifacts, and she has also the weapons, because you can use the Iron Sting on Kukishinobu as well. Mediocre constellations, I think not particularly exciting, but she is very nice with the Dendro. And you could play Kukishinobu in a Electro Charge team as well. Kukishinobu is a nice S tier character in my opinion. Kirara, last character from Inazuma. Well, if you were not considered Wanderer, but the Wanderer has the Sumeru vision. So Kirara, I'm not sure. I don't have Kirara. She's the only character among the 4-star I don't have. So I'm not sure where I should place Kirara. At the moment I place her in A- because I don't have absolutely any idea. I've never tried Kirara, so I place her here because I think she's definitely between the B or A tier, but yeah, nothing else to say. Finally, we're in Sumeru, and as for the Dendro Traveler is an easy A tier for me. Strongest traveler at the moment. Budget Nahida works very well, strong, and he's actually quite strong as a character. He's a budget Nahida, like people call him like that. A tier, a honest A tier. Kore, so I have some issues with Kore. Kore can be used. It's not tragic, but in my opinion, she has to go on C tier because her elemental burst is just like Ember's. It lasts very short. It's very short, and yeah, mainly because of that, I don't think she can help you with triggering Dendro reactions. C tier for me. Tinari A tier character. Tinari, our first Dendro 5-star character, apart from the Dendro Traveler, like the limited character. Tinari, nice DPS, nice damage dealer, easy to use, and honest A tier. The only shame is that you can't. I don't know if they will ever rerun Tinari's bow because it's the rarest weapon at the moment. Maybe he doesn't have these free-to-play friendly weapons. I think Tinari with a 5-star bow is different from Tinari with a 4-star bow. I place it on the last post of the A tier because of this, but Tinari is still a nice character. And Dori, oh my. Dori for me is a D tier, although I haven't played Dori that much. I just see no point because we have Kuki Shinobu. I see no reason to play Dori at all because they cover the same role and of the same element, and Kuki Shinobu is 100 times stronger than Dori. Dori D tier. I haven't used Dori, but still. Candace, another D tier for me. I hope that with Fontaine, Candace will change because I actually like her design a lot. But Candace is a character that you don't use. Basically, there's no reason of using Candace when you have other Hydra characters that are way more stronger, way stronger, and then Candace. And yeah, I don't have anything to say about her. I have never used Candace, and I don't think anyone had actually used Candace like D tier. Nero S tier, specific support for bloom reaction, and she slaps you on your face. She is like more limited compared to the other characters on the S tier, but she's still an S tier character because the way she makes your characters to do more damage is insane, and she is easy to build. Another reason I place her as the last character of the S tier is because she doesn't have a 4-star weapon. Apart from her signature weapon, actually, Any other weapons are just not, you know, are just not good for Nero. I love the character. I love her. I love her cutscene during the main quest, but she doesn't have a weapon, and she's even very easy to build with the artifacts because she only wants HP. And yeah, S tier, but as the last character because she doesn't have a weapon. Seno. Seno. For me, he should be here. I put him on A- because he's actually quite similar to Kachin. The issue I have is that we have Kachin. Kachin has a better weapon selection. Seno doesn't have that weapon selection that Kachin has. Because Kachin can use the Lion's Roar, I think Seno doesn't have even a weapon like that. I mean, the weapon I'm using now, you can technically play the white wallet. Okay, so let's place Sino on A tier because you can still play the white tassel. White tassel is a nice weapon, although it's a 3-star weapon, so it can't help you with damage. I prefer Kachin. I actually Sino is one of the characters I regretted the most, and I even gave him a crown, but I just don't really enjoy playing Sino. Even think a catching can deal more damage. I'm not sure about this, but and also Sino has a very old old kit, I'll say. Sino looks a character that has been released since the beginning of the game because his elemental skill is quite similar to Shao, but he has only one use, while Shao even has 2 uses. So yeah, I put Sino here. Nahida S tier character. And nothing else to say. The Danger Traveler is already on A tier, and he's the budget version of Nahida, so you can just imagine Nahida a lot of damage if you build her as a damage dealer, great support for your elemental reactions, easy to build, overpowered constellations, has artifacts and anything. Nahida is just like if for every danger reactions team comp you're thinking, you just want Nahida. If you have Nahida, you want Nahida. If you don't have Nahida, you want Nahida. That's Nahida. S tier, easy S tier. Layla. So Layla applies as a cryo in quite an efficient way. She also has a nice shield. Maybe on A tier. The thing is, I place her in A- because I'm not really sure to place her in A tier. I think she's better than B tier, but for me Layla does have some potential. It's just it's not used yet, just like Diona. And yeah, she does apply cryo better than Diona, I think. he has a better application, but still not fully used at the moment. Al-Haitham, 8 tier character, and he does have nice selections of weapons and artifacts. And that's it. Then we have Wanderer. Wanderer is another character that has let me down. He's a character that has just let me down quite a lot. And so I place Wanderer in 8 tier because he's fun to play. He has Wanderer is one of the characters that has the most the most team comps, because you can literally play Wanderer with almost everyone, and that's it. But he just doesn't do enough damage. You want Farzan. And yeah. But I think still I think B tier. No, I changed my idea. I put Wanderer in B tier. He just doesn't have the damage. He's very fun to play though, but he just doesn't have the damage the other characters in A tier have. I even have Wanderer at C1. For me, it's quite a letdown. He does have the artifact set though, but not easy to control. I mean, Farzan, is a B tier for me. So she changes animal characters. The problem is, in order to change the animal character, Farzan needs her C6. Because she's the specific support for the animal, she counts only with the Wanderer in retap. Farzan is a B tier for me because it's unacceptable that I need her C6 to make Farzan work. Goro works with C0. Kujo Sara also, maybe harder, but she still works. Farzan is very hard to use without C6. I'm not even talking about a constellation, the C6. You need the C6. She does change animal characters, but compared to Goro and Kujosara, she's just below them. I personally place her on C tier. I'm not doing this only because she actually has changed animal characters, but it's just too hard. Last two characters, oh my. Dehya. How do I express with this character? She's just like Shinya. Strange kid. She's a 5-star character on the standard banner, and she's the weakest standard character, standard banner character. Dehya is a mistake. I don't have any other way to express myself because saying that Dehya is a mistake. They did something wrong. I don't know what they have done to think Dehya's kid in this way, but it's just a horrible kid. She's I think she's the weakest 5-star character in game, in the gacha system, because we're not considering Eloy. Okay, Dihya is literally the weakest character in this game. DTR, I don't have anything else to say. And then we have Kave. Kave for me is Kave is not an A tier character, but for me it's a B tier, because Kave works very well if you have Nahida, if you have Niro, if you have Baitsu. But if you have to play him with the Danger Traveler, it's not that bad, but if you have to play with him with Danger Traveler and like Kokomi or Yelan, is not the same to have also Niro and Nahida and Baitsu. He has some use. He has a weapon from an event, so it's quite hard to judge Kave. Kave is an A tier when he is with a Niro, Nahida, and Shincho or Yelang, but without them, Kave is quite mediocre. Nice constellation though. Maybe I'll place him here. And well, I've finished the tier list. Maybe the only concern I have is Diona. Maybe she can be an A-, but sorry, I don't like Diona, so I won't be thinking about. Like I place Diona in B tier for the same reason I placed Mona. There aren't many players that play them. So that's it. This is my tier list, and I say I'm quite satisfied. I'm not changing the order because although most of the I try to place them somehow, and which one can be like actually not that much, but the characters that are on the as the last characters in their own category are maybe the characters that have something less compared to the other, but they're still solid in that tier. And first character, like Kaza is the strongest character in this game still, but like for the others are maybe somehow like E tier. I placed Tom and Goro in the front line because I like them, so just don't mind the order. This is just the tier based on the characters mostly themselves, because although it's true that like a lot of characters works only with specific characters, just like Needle, but still they are solid options. Like they are not hard to play, they can be played without the, for example, Nilo. Once the ideal is to play Nilo with Nahida, either Kokomi or Baitsu and another Hydro character, but Nilo can be played with Shincho, even Candice, Danger Travel and Collect without problem, or Barbara. Like Yaimiko, she's quite hard to play without a Raiden Shogun or someone that gives her back her energy. Yeah, and that's it. I think this is my current tier list. Maybe the next time I'm making a tier list will change a lot, but still this is my tier list at the moment. So thank you guys for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.